I'm Amelia Ickes, on scene here at the Enterprise Center after Game 1 of the Missouri Valley Conference Championship. I'm here with RSL analyst Connor Bergen to ask a few questions about the first game. So Connor, can you please explain to me what happened in the first game?
Yeah, so the first matchup today was between the 9th seed Valparaiso Crusaders and the 8th seed Indiana State Sycamores. It started off as a back-and-forth game. Neither team could really find their rhythm on offense, but then late in the first half, Valparaiso really took control of the game and took all the momentum. The swing happened after an 11-0 Indiana State Sycamore run that gave them a lead 22-14 with 6 minutes left in the half. But from there, Valpo turned it up another notch. They ended the half on a 22-7 run to take a 7-point halftime lead. And then in the second half, they just kept their foot on the gas pedal and cruised to the victory. Valparaiso had a more balanced scoring effort, getting 3 players in double figures, led by Marcus Golders, 18 points. And also, they weren't relying on the jump shot. They were driving to the hole. They got to the foul line 27 times and made 22 free throws out of those attempts.
Right, so during the regular season, Loyola has defeated Valparaiso twice. Do you think this is reflective of how they will perform tomorrow?
I have to say Loyola is definitely favored going into the game, but they will have their hands full. If you're going to look for a matchup in this game, definitely look for it in the block. Valpo has a 7'1" center, Derek Smits. I'll be interested to see how he goes up against Cameron Krutwig. Will be a little bit of old school basketball. But overall, I think out of Indiana State and Valparaiso, Loyola drew the harder team. They'll really have to step up their offense if they're going to have a chance to win.
All right, thank you so much for your analysis, Connor. I look forward to the game tomorrow at 12. After the game today, Connor was at the press conference with head coach Matt Loddick. We're going to cut now to what Connor heard there.
For RSL, I'm Connor Bergen, reporting after Game 1 of Arch Madness from St. Louis. The 9th-seeded Valparaiso Crusaders defeated the 8th-seed Indiana State Sycamores 77-55. In the post-game press conference, head coach of the Crusaders, Matt Loddick, said he was happy with his team's performance, saying he was especially proud that the team got their first MVC tournament win since joining the conference a season ago. Loddick said that the team faced a lot of adversity in their stretch run of the season as they lost their final 3 games, so it was a big moment for them to get this victory in round 1. The round 1 victory now sets up a date for the Crusaders with the number 1 seed Loyola Chicago Ramblers. When asked if getting a blowout victory over their round 1 opponent made it seem more confident going into their date with the number 1 seed in the tournament, Loddick sarcastically said, "Is that the same team that went to the Final Four last year?" So it is clear that he is not underestimating his opponent tomorrow at noon. For RSL, I'm Connor Bergen.
Game 1 of the Missouri Valley Tournament often sees some of the most loyal fans in basketball. RSL reporter Abby Schnabel caught up with some of them today.
This year's Missouri Valley Conference Tournament has officially begun and the fans are flocking to St. Louis. But with the opening games being played on a Thursday, not many make it down in time for the full tournament. Scattered among the stands are the team's most loyal fans who are willing to do whatever is necessary to support their teams. Who has the best fans?
ISU, Illinois State University.
SIU, Indiana State by far.
Evansville Purple Aces, there's no question.
I think Loyola is a close second.
The Sycamores, of course. I'm one of the biggest, literally the biggest.
Just to start, so Thursday game, what did you have to do to make it to today's game?
Oh, well, I just commuted a little bit, but I had a lot of getting myself ready to do, like my hair and my hair.
Just get in the car and come. That was it.
I called in from work today, so Ron, hopefully you're not watching this video.
Well, I had to leave work a little bit earlier. My wife got out at 3 o'clock and we drove from Indianapolis. So we got here literally right now and the game's already started a little bit.
Took the day off and drove over and had lunch with friends and then checked in, took a nap, and here I am.
Why is it important to come to the Thursday games?
I enjoy representing my son, number 41, Imandre Rickman.
We didn't have the best season, and sometimes when a team doesn't play the best, they don't travel the best. So I think every purple and orange we can get in the stands can really we're sitting in the third row, so hopefully the players on the floor can see that, and maybe they can feed off of us.
You just want to show support for your team. You know, anything can happen in these tournaments.
Because I paid for the tickets, so I figure I might as well come over for the game.
It's important to go to all games. We want to be there every time they win or every time they lose.
For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Abby Schnabel.
I'm here with RSL analyst Eric Morin, who covered tonight's game of Illinois State against Evansville, in which Illinois State won 65-60. Tell me, Eric, how did that game go?
Well, so in the first half, the Purple Aces got off to a really slow start. They were down 7-1 at one point, but then they slowly came back into the game, and they actually held leading MVC scorer Malik Yarborough to just 2 points in the first half. So they were able to actually end the first half by a score of 28-27 because of how they were able to contain Malik Yarborough, and also because he had 2 fouls, so he wasn't even able to play that much in the first half. And then the second half, things started to actually look kind of down for Evansville. They were down 11 at one point, but then immediately afterwards they went on a 10 point streak, and then were actually able to retake the lead. But then, unfortunately, towards the end for Evansville, they weren't able to keep up with the back and forth with the Redbirds, and they eventually fell.
Who were some key players during tonight's game?
So, as I did mention, a senior guard, Malik Yarborough, he did have a really rough first half, especially because he had 2 fouls, so he wasn't able to play that much. But in the second half, they actually put him in, and he scored an additional 16 points, so he had a total of 18 points. And also a senior forward, Phil Fain, he also put up 17 points in the effort as well.
After tonight's game, Eric Morin attended the post-game press conference of ISU head coach Dan Mueller.
I'm here on the floor after the 7th-seeded Illinois State Redbirds took down the 10th-seeded Evansville Purple Aces by a score of 65-60. Now, I attended Coach Dan Mueller's press conference after the game, and the coach of the Redbirds said that he actually credited Evansville's effort, and he also credited the seniors' effort as well. He made it a lot about Evansville rather than his own team. He also acknowledged the ugliness of the game, saying that it was not the score that the team would have liked to have, that it was a lot closer than they would have liked it to have, and that they missed a lot of shots that they usually would have made. He also praised Matt Chastain's effort, saying that he was the unsung hero of the team and that he made a lot of crucial plays for the team. I also spoke to Phil Fain and Keyshawn Evans of the Redbirds, and they both acknowledged the deficit, but they said that they kept their composure throughout the game and kept reminding their teammates that they were still in it despite them being down late in the second half. For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Eric Moran.
During the second game of tonight, the ISU dance team really brought the spirit. RSL reporter Kelsey Frew caught up with them.
When the tournament comes to town, Enterprise Stadium is filled with energy. Most schools bring a dance team and a cheerleading team to pack Arch Madness with their own school spirit. We got a behind-the-scenes look at what the Illinois State teams do to prepare and what they bring to the court.
For a lot of our routines, our captains come up with the performances, but also our coach does. And we learn them throughout the whole entire year. So we actually start in the summer, and then we continue to learn all the way up through our season.
Well, throughout the year, we kind of have like various different amount of like things that we do throughout the year. So when we end up preparing for this routine, it's kind of just like we just do what we can and bring different stunts together, bring different people together so that we can just execute whatever skills that we try to do when we're out here. And there are some different pyramids that we do that are like different here than we would do at normal games, but for the most part, we kind of just like do whatever we would do at home. We kind of make be home here also at Arch Madness so that it's not too much difference.
We actually learn all new routines for Arch Madness. So this year we've learned 3 new routines. We learned jazz, hip hop, and pom, and we hope to perform all 3 this weekend.
Well, back at home at Redbird Arena, it's also really, really huge, so this is kind of like feeling like home as well. But performing here is such a different atmosphere, but it also feels like home, so it makes things a lot better. When I'm out there, it's kind of like a little nerve-wracking because you have fans from like both sides, but we have such a big crowd here today, so that makes things so amazing and so much more feeling like home.
It's really exciting. It's definitely a little bit intimidating, especially when we walk out at first. Redbird Arena is not quite as big, but it is pretty close. So it's exciting.
For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Kelsey Frew.
Our coverage for day one. For Connor Bergen, Eric Moran, and the entire Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Amelia Ickes. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for our coverage of day two.